We are back with you live once again, another Johnny Torch live broadcast number 226 of the Johnny Torch program. We are bringing you Torch News Roundup number 191 today. 191, wow. I marvel always at all these episodes in the series, stretching back a couple of years now. Happy Thanksgiving. Let me be the first to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. We're beginning Thanksgiving week here in the Torch household. A lot of cooking to be done. Yours truly will be doing some of it. The desserts is usually my specialty, my speciality. What's the difference? I always wonder, what's the difference between a specialty and a speciality? The English accent? I'm not sure. But welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. The idea, if you're not familiar with the content of the program, is to talk pop culture and some of the goodies that are going on, the in-the-works movies and television shows. We talk about it. And, of course, we talk about some of the strange sort of fringe happenings that are going on, such as we will talk about the SJW crazies descending upon Gina Carano again. So we will get to that in a moment, but first, a little housekeeping here. You want to check the link in the description below for the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. If you have not heard me hawk the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, then let me once again bring your attention to it. A down on his luck private eye takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable in each and every action-packed issue. If you would like any of the issues, we've got 3 remastered. I always call them graphic novels. I think we've had this discussion before. Maybe they're called trades. I don't know. To me, trades, that sounds like I don't know. I prefer to say graphic novel, but this is sort of the collection of 3 issues in the saga, which is When the Night Comes. It's a 60-page graphic novel. The second collection, these are under the Bullets Bourbon Chronicles heading, is Knock on Wood, which is a 40-page extravaganza. And we have the first issue, which is 32 pages, which is the remaster of the first issue. The first story, titled It's Always Something. Also available, the beginning of the next 3-issue story arc will be The Family Jewels. That is out also for purchase. And these make great Christmas gifts for those of you wanting to support indie comics and also wanting to give the gift of comics to a comic book fan. I'm sure these would make great gifts. Of course, you have to order now, as they say. I have a limited amount. I have enough to probably fill any orders in the near future. But, of course, you want these presents to arrive in time for Christmas. You got to start working on it right now. You got to get these orders in. And, of course, you can check the link in the description below for my Twitter page. Our website, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, we have a free preview up, so be sure you check that out. You can see 3 pages of the Family Jewels as it is now ready for purchase. I'm working on the cover for issue 8 right now, which is Temptation Eyes. I was debating whether I should show it today on the broadcast, but I kind of like to do that on separate broadcasts where I can talk about the book at length. This is going to be just the traditional Torch News Roundup where we talk pop culture and stuff. So we'll look for that in the future, and we'll definitely try to get that done. I did a lot of work on this cover, a lot of work, and I'm very proud of it. Although, I just nitpick it. I see my limitations, and I try to stretch beyond them. But, there comes a time, I think, when you have to kind of put the art aside and say, look, it's done. That's about as far as I can go without just, totally scrapping it and going back to basics and starting over. But I like the way it came. It looks really nice, and I'm just going to touch it up a little bit more before we reveal that. Again, happy Thanksgiving, because this might be the last broadcast before Thanksgiving. I'm trying to think now. Maybe I can fit one in tomorrow, maybe. It's going to depend on if I have enough material. But so if I don't do a broadcast until Thanksgiving, once again, that's why I want to say happy Thanksgiving. I always take a moment to ponder, on Thanksgiving. So much to be thankful for. I'm so thankful. I know we've had a rough year. It's been a really tough year on all of us, but God is good. Jesus Christ is good, and he's certainly made a difference in my life this year as well as all the rest. But even in the times that's been pretty difficult to bear this past year, I'm very thankful. I know I am, and I hope you are too. And I hope, you're not going to be far away from loved ones. I hope you take the time to, come together, be grateful for being with each other. We only have so much time on this little planet to be together. Don't pass it up. If it's Thanksgiving, take that time, make that opportunity for each other and yourselves. You'll never regret it. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's start talking about what we've got, what we've all come here for, so to speak. And first off, I'm going to take a look at the poll of the week question for last week. Poll of the week question last week was a political one. I know, I try not to get too political on this show, but it was a political one, and the question was, how do you think the Supreme Court will resolve the election mess? The 4 options were dump the mail-in and fraudulent votes. Second was send it to the legislature. The third was have a runoff election, and the fourth was let Biden's fraud stand. With 10 votes in a small margin, sent to the legislature won with 50% of the vote. Dump the mail-in and fraudulent ballots came in with 40% of the vote. Let Biden's fraud stand. Kind of a negative reaction, but that came in with 10% of the vote, and nobody voted for the runoff election. Okay, so that's how we think it's going to shape up. Does it? Do we? I don't know. We'll see. All right, this poll of the week question we have, it's going to go, it's dovetailed to our first topic, so let me get the screen booted up here. Let's get straight into it. Let's see. Alrighty. Now, this is going to go back to last week's topic. We were talking about Wonder Woman 1984. There's been the continuing debate. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to put it on HBO Max? Are they going to put it out theatrically? Are they going to do both? Are they going to do neither and just hold on to it for yet another year? Like I said, I think this film has been pretty much in the can for about 3 years. I mean, you got to take off about 6 months for post-production work and so forth, or whatever. But I think they shot this film a good 3 years ago. So, it's time. It's time this film comes out. You don't want to sort of, just keep teasing the audience. I think one way or another, this film had to come out. And I think in the same way Black Widow should be coming out, but we're hearing that that's not going to be the case for Black Widow. I don't have too much information to talk about with that, but so the poll of the week question is, now that Wonder Woman 1984 has been confirmed, it will be released on Christmas Day. They are not going to pull it away from us again. They're not going to jerk us around anymore. And they are subsequently going to also put it out on HBO Max concurrently with a theatrical release. So the question now is, how are you going to see Wonder Woman 1984? Now, again, the link in the description below for my Twitter page. If you want to vote in this poll, you still have 4 days as of now, as of today. Not looking to argue, just naturally curious. I'm not going to lecture you. Of course, it's a secret vote. I mean, if you would prefer not to even give your reasons, so much the better. But the 2 options are you going to see the film in theater or on HBO Max? As of right now, 59.3% are opting to go to the actual theater and see it. 40.7% are going to rely on HBO Max. So a slight nod towards in theater. And again, I don't, this is just my opinion, just one man's opinion. I don't really see a problem with going in theater. They're going to observe all the protocols, I'm sure. They're going to maintain a healthy distance between seats. I'm sure they'll have plenty of ventilation. People are going to be mandated to wear their masks, which I am against. But again, this is their rules, and you want to go see a movie, you got to go abide by their rules. I get it. So I don't really see a problem. I don't see a fear in going to the theater. So I obviously am going to try to go to the theater to see this. It's going to be around Christmas. It's going to come out on Christmas. But I mean, that's always a difficult time for me. I know the Star Wars movies come out around then lately. Aquaman came out around then. So quite probably I'm not going to see this until the beginning of next year. I might get a free day sometime during like that Christmas week, that Christmas New Year's week. I don't know. It's a possibility, but I'm definitely going to see this in theater. So I'm excited about it because I was hoping I'd be able to see Bill and Ted Face the Music, which I think just came out on DVD. I'm going to probably check that out. I'm probably going to get that around Christmas, though. I'm going to get that as a Christmas gift. But, I waited so long to go to the movies. They have the theaters open now, but they're showing a very limited release of new films. I think Tenet came out, and I don't know what else is out. But you can see like old classics. You can see The Empire Strikes Back, and I don't know, Gremlins, I think, is out. Back to the Future, I think, was out. There's some things out there that you can watch, but not much of it is new. And so I kind of like, well, even though it's priced right, I think AMC is only charging $5 for these classic films. It's a decent price. I can dig it, but I really don't see the upside in going to see something that I could watch at home. Unless I have. I mean, I've already seen Empire up on the big screen, and I wouldn't say I'm that big of a fan of the other films to want to see it on the big screen. I mean, maybe I never saw Raiders of the Lost Ark on the big screen. I kind of maybe I'd be tempted to see that, but I don't know. So you could check out the link in the description below. You could find this poll of the week question on my Twitter page right now, even as we speak. Before we move on here from this story, like I said, now Wonder Woman 1984 will be out in theaters and on HBO Max. We will read, let's see, Patty Jenkins took to Twitter with a statement, as did Gal Gadot, and I think Warner Brothers also had something to say. I've only got Patty Jenkins' copy here, so we'll read that. She said, and I quote, "The time has come. At some point, you have to choose to share any love and joy you have to give over everything else. We love our movie as we love our fans, so we truly hope that our film brings a little bit of joy and reprieve to all of you this holiday season. Watch it in theaters where it is made safe to do so. Check out the great work theaters have done to make it so, and available in the safety of your home on HBO Max where it is not. Happy holidays to all of you. We hope you enjoy our film as much as we enjoyed making it." And again, I think this is the right thing to do. It needs to happen. This movie does have to come out at some point. I don't, I'm firmly on Patty Jenkins' side where she really wanted this film to come out in theaters. I think that's kind of the drive, the dream, I suppose, of all filmmakers is that you get your film out into a theater. That's not to say that like TV is any less of a medium, but I think when you're doing a big budget movie, you want the audience to see it in a big budget. I mean, in a big budget movie theater. That's the way that it was intended. And so I'm glad she stuck to her guns that they are going to put it out. I believe it's going to be a wide release. I don't think this is just, as I was saying earlier about Bill and Ted, it was such a limited release. It was nowhere around me. So everybody's going to have their shot to see Wonder Woman 1984 on the big screen. All right, so let's move along. And like I said, check out that link so that you can vote in the poll. All right, let's take a look at some of the news stories of today. Let's see. Now, this was a surprise to me, quite honestly. We covered about a week ago Painkiller getting his own series. Now, apparently, the reason why he's going to get his own series is because Black Lightning has been canceled. Or quite possibly that it has just come to an end. I have found literally zero news about this. I don't know why it's being canceled. I don't know why it's ending. I don't know. It probably has something to do with the cast wanting to stop, I guess. And they think they could probably spin off maybe Painkiller to sort of keep the storyline going. But let me say, Black Lightning actually is a really good show. I mean, this past season was a really good season. Now, I'm not going to pretend like this was a huge success and it was wildly popular. It's kind of the also ran of the CW shows, the Arrowverse shows. Everybody wants to see The Flash and Supergirl and Legends. Black Lightning is kind of an afterthought. But last season, like I said, was very high quality, and I was very pleased with it. And I would highly recommend it. Now, I missed a couple of the first episodes of the season. I think that's kind of slow, and it kind of picked up as it went along. But I would recommend if you haven't checked it out. It's probably worth your time. So, again, it looks like after Arrow went down, Stephen Amell wanted to stop, and Supergirl, Melissa Benoist, I think, was kind of ready to stop. I don't know if it's Cress Williams' decision, maybe, that it's going to end. Like I said, I would have liked to see more with Black Lightning. I'd like to see more done with Black Lightning, with sort of the potential for a Justice League of CW characters, you know, the Arrowverse characters. I would like to see him more taking his place there. But sadly, since the crossover, which sort of promised lofty visions of like a Justice League and we're going to build on that and this and that, we've already lost Supergirl. We've lost, Green Arrow in that whole entire miniseries. And we lost, Black Lightning. It's getting less and less likely we're going to see a Justice League crossover, at least, if not show. All right. I managed to find, let's see, some copy here. I think this is Deadline. But nobody is really talking about why this is happening. So let's see if we can find some information in this story. The upcoming fourth season of the CW's Black Lightning will be its last, the network announced Friday. When we first started the Black Lightning journey, I knew that Jefferson Pierce and his family of powerful Black women would be a unique addition to the superhero genre, executive producer Salem Akel said in a statement. The love that Blurs and all comic book fans around the globe have shown this series over the past 3 seasons proved what we imagined. Black people want to see themselves in all their complexities. He continued, thank you to the phenomenal cast, writers, and crew without whom none of this would have been possible. I'm incredibly proud of the work we've been able to do and the moments we've been able to create in bringing DC's first African-American family of superheroes to life for the culture. I'm very grateful to Peter Roth, Warner Brothers TV, Mark Pedowitz, the CW Network, and Greg Bertolanti for their partnership and support of my vision at every step of this journey. He concluded, while Season 4 may be the end of one journey, I'm extremely excited to usher in a new chapter and continued collaboration with the CW as we tell the story of Painkiller. So again, I don't know, very interesting why they would choose to end it right here. But they have plans to carry on with Painkiller, so maybe we'll see something else with the Pierce family. I don't know. I imagine it won't be with Jefferson. It won't be with Black Lightning. But then again, Jennifer, does she have anything to do with it? I think we already heard that she was going to. He was going to be like on his own. Had nothing to do with Jennifer. I don't know. I don't know where they go from here. Any of the spin-off characters apart from Painkiller. The fourth and final season of Black Lightning premieres Monday, February 8th at 9 on the CW, while a spin-off centered around Painkiller, played by Jordan Calloway, is currently in development. Black Lightning stars Cress Williams as Jefferson Pierce, China Ann McClain as Jennifer Pierce, Nafessa Williams as Anessa Pierce, Christine Adams is Lynn Stewart. Marvin Crondon Jones III is Tobias White. James Remar as Peter Gambini, or Gamby, excuse me. Let's see. Once Black Lightning and Supergirl and their upcoming end their upcoming final seasons, the CW stable of Arrowverse shows will consist of Batwoman, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, Stargirl, and Superman and Lois. So, yeah, sad to see Black Lightning go. Also, so soon. CW is notorious for letting their shows stay pretty much as long as the cast and crew want to make them. Supernatural is only ending this year, I think, after 15 seasons. So I kind of imagine, like I said, this had to be that the show just ran out of gas, which, I don't know, I would think they would be able to come up with something to continue on. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you sad to see Black Lightning go? Do you think, it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of the sad sister of the CW shows. It probably gets the least amount of views. All right, let's see. Speaking of the CW and their Arrowverse, we have news about another superhero character apparently going to get the green light from the CW. WonderGirl. Now, this is not the WonderGirl I remember. I remember Donna Troy, so I have no idea what this character is. And quite honestly, I'm not interested at all. Again, it's another one of these things where they're trying to do sort of like the diverse. They're trying to make a stable of CW shows that are diverse, which, while that's all well and good, you have to have a captivating character. And, obviously, Batwoman, they wanted to have a lesbian superhero. Okay, it was tied very closely to Bruce Wayne. It was his cousin, and now it's difficult now because now we're having a completely different character step in. Of course, Black Lightning was a popular character, went back decades to the 70s and so forth. This is like kind of the most difficult sell for me. I've never heard of this WonderGirl. I'm not particularly interested. I mean, the costume and everything here, the visual does not look all that appealing. But I know nothing about it. Let me read the copy, and hopefully this will be interesting. The network is developing WonderGirl, a drama series based on the DC character created by Joelle Jones. I think that's how you pronounce it. It hails from Queen of the South executive producer, co-showrunner Dalen Rodriguez and Bertolanti Productions. Written by Rodriguez, WonderGirl centers on Yara Flor, a Latina dreamer who was born of an Amazonian warrior and a Brazilian river god. So this doesn't sound like it has anything to do with Wonder Woman, the DC original at all. She learns that she is WonderGirl. With her newfound power, must fight the evil forces that would seek to destroy the world. This would mark the first Latina superhero title character for a DC TV series. Rodriguez, who is the daughter of Cuban immigrants, is executive producing with Bertolanti Productions. Greg Bertolanti, Sarah Scheiter, and David Madden. Bertolanti Productions produced in association with Warner Brothers Television. The series tells the backstory origin of the DC Comics character who was recently revealed as a new Wonder Woman. Yara will make her comic book appearance this January in Future State Wonder Woman, part of DC's Future State event written and drawn by Jones. So this doesn't even have any basis in comic books yet. They're not even taking somebody from the comics. They're doing the show at the same time as the comic is going to come out, apparently. At the CW, WonderGirl will be looking to join Bertolanti's existing DC universe, which includes Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and the upcoming Superman and Lois, Supergirl, which is wrapping up its run with the upcoming 6th season, and Black Lightning. Batwoman and Black Lightning, respectively, introduced the first gay lead character and the first Black-led live-action DC superhero series. Let's see. This is one of two famous Warner Brothers controlled intellectual properties they're developing as a series for the CW this year, along with Powerpuff Girls. I heard this about Powerpuff Girls. This is very strange. They're going to do a live action Powerpuff. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if maybe I can find something about that. But from what I heard, it's going to be terrible. Just like any other time they try to bring in like a kid's property and try to put it on the CW, like Archie, like, you know, Sabrina, like I hear there's also a Dennis the Menace show that they were looking at. I don't know. Really, really weird stuff. Really weird stuff. Let's see. Do I really care about any of the rest of this? Not really. WonderGirl is the alias of multiple DC comic superheroes. The original WonderGirl, Donna Troy, was created by Bob Hanley and Bruno Parmini, and first appeared in The Brave and the Bold, number 60 in 1965. The alias has also been used in reference to a younger version of Wonder Woman as a teenager. Okay, so let me know what you think about this WonderGirl series. I don't know, especially since it's not really tied into Wonder Woman by and large. I say pass. If it was the Donna Troy version or something like that, maybe I'd be interested. This has nothing to do with that, so I don't think so. But, you know, I check all these things out. I imagine I'm going to watch it like I'm watching Swamp Thing now, even though I'm not a big fan of Swamp Thing. All right, next up. Let's see what we have here. We were talking last week about Johnny Depp losing his franchisees. I don't know how you say that plurally, but he's been kicked out. Booted is the word. Booted from the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and now apparently he's also booted from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, which will look to be taken over by the lovely Margot Robbie. Earlier this year, we got word that Disney's first female-fronted Pirates of the Caribbean movie had enlisted Birds of Prey star Margot Robbie to take the lead. The actress seemed hesitant to talk about the project during a recent interview, but she's now confirmed her involvement. Chatting with Collider to promote her new drama, Dreamland, Robbie was asked what this new Pirates of the Caribbean movie would bring to the long-running franchise. Lots of girl power, she responded. Oh, we love to hear that. Didn't we hear that with Birds of Prey? This is going to be the exact same crew bringing you this film that brought you Birds of Prey. So if you liked Birds of Prey, I imagine you're going to love this. If you're like the millions of others that wasn't crazy about Birds of Prey, I don't think you're going to like this either. No, it's too early to talk about it. I love Christina Hodson. Obviously, I'm not a producer on Pirates, so I'll sit back and kind of wait for the process. We're really, really excited at the prospect of adding, obviously, a very key female element to that world. Apparently, this is a wholly original story with new characters under the Pirates moniker and is not being developed as a spin-off of the blockbuster franchise featuring Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. There's also another Pirates project that works with Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin and previous Pirates movie writer Ted Elliott. So if this is a reboot and Mazin's movie is a reboot, we're getting two separate Pirates reboots. Hopefully we'll have a clearer picture of what to expect soon. Plot details are hidden away in Davy Jones' locker, but speculation is that Robbie could be playing Red, the popular meet-and-greet character from the Disney Parks attraction. Longtime Pirates producer Jerry Bruckheimer is attached to produce both Hodson's film and the Elliott Mazin project. So again, to me, the more Margot Robbie projects, the better. I don't mind seeing Margot Robbie. She's a pretty girl. So I am interested in this, I will admit. I hope it is not going to be another sort of, passion project for girl power and rah-rah the SJWs and how they're taking these projects and making them all women and stuff. But again, depending on how it looks, I'll probably check it out. I like the Pirates franchise with Johnny Depp, and I sincerely hope Johnny Depp gets back Jack Sparrow. That is made to order for him. That is his character, you know, because he's played a lot of kooky characters, you know, Edward Scissorhands, this, that, but he had a franchise there that was all his own with Captain Jack, and I really hope he gets it back. But again, he's in the midst of this cancel culture stuff that I know none of us can stand. You know, it really boils the blood. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Excuse me while I take a little H2O. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you down for Margot Robbie's Pirates of the Caribbean, or do you just you're just gonna stay away in droves like you did with with Birds of Prey? Okay, so we get some more news here. I got these things not exactly in order, so we got a little more news in the CW verse. The CW verse is Stargirl has added a character. Let's see, mentioned previously on DC, Stargirl as a friend of the titular heroine's little brother, Jakeem Thunder, will officially make his debut on the latest CW superhero show in Season 2. According to The Decider, Alcoya Brunson has joined the cast to portray the youngest member of the Justice Society of America. The news should come as no surprise, as comedian Jim Gaffigan was recently cast as the voice of Thunderbolt. I've never heard of this character. I have no idea who he is. Let's see. Brunson is no stranger to working on the CW, having previously appeared on the originals. Jakeem Thunder debuted in the pages of DC Comics and Flash, Volume 2, number 134, in 1998, and was created by Grant Morrison, Mark Millar, and Paul Ryan. Jakeem is the second inheritor of the Thunderbolt Genie, who's actually a fifth dimension being like Mr. Mxyzptlk and Batmite, following the mental decline of Johnny Thunder due to Alzheimer's disease. The original Flash, Jay Garrick, gave Thunderbolt's lamp fountain pen to Jakeem, who can control the incredibly powerful fifth dimensional being by clicking the pen and saying, "So cool." This is going to be interesting to see because, to be honest with you, Stargirl is the most promising of the shows. I have to admit, though, that I have my reservations of how it's going to be on the CW going forward. Just like how the tonal shift of Supergirl was a complete weird digression from where they started. They started more feminist, and then they went straight LGBTQ, and I don't know exactly if that's the same pivot that they're going to take on Stargirl, but you watch and see. You watch and see. The next season is not going to be good as the first. They never are on the CW. I don't know why. I think, well, we know why. It's sort of activist writing, but we'll see. Again, I loved the first season. I'm going to give this season every opportunity. All right, next up, let's see. What do we got here? This is an interesting story. This came, pretty interesting to me because I always liked this cartoon character when I was a kid. The Pink Panther is apparently going to get his first big budget movie, one that is not going to be a Inspector Clouseau film. I was always hoping when I was a kid, when I used to see those Inspector Clouseau's films, that maybe the Pink Panther was going to show up. Maybe they'll do that here. Maybe Inspector Clouseau will be in the film, and the Pink Panther will be part of his prey. I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog director Jeff Fowler has signed on to helm a new live-action CG hybrid Pink Panther movie for MGM. This won't be another take on the Inspector Clouseau character previously played by Peter Sellers and Steve Martin, but a big screen outing for the silent rose-colored cat first introduced during the film series opening credits. The laid-back feline would go on to feature in an Oscar-winning animated short before getting his own TV series in 1964. Bad Boys for Life co-writer Chris Bremner is penning the script for this new movie, which is being described as a modern reimagining of the Panther story with live-action humans and a CG Panther. Now, again, I don't know. I mean, they've all taken their shot at this. The Smurfs, Yogi Bear. I think there was even a Woody Woodpecker one, which I didn't see. They're always trying to do this, and it never really is that satisfying. Maybe this time will be different. I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog was pretty good, and this is the same director. Lawrence Mirshich, Julie Andrews Edwards. Julie Andrews Edwards? Not Julie Andrews, Julie Andrews Edwards of Jeffrey Productions. Ridebacks Dan Lin and Jonathan Inrich are producing with Walter Mirshich and Ridebacks Ryan Helprin on board as executive producers. Popular the world over, the legacy of the iconic Pink Panther has endured for more than 50 years and continues to be discovered by new generations, said Michael DeLuca, MGM's film group chairman, and Pamela Abdi, MGM Film Group president. We're so happy to come together with Jeff, Chris, Larry, Julie, Dan, Jonathan, Walter, and Ryan to bring one of MGM's most well-loved franchise back to the big screen and in a way audiences will never have seen before. So there you have it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that is. I'm curious. Let me know if you're curious as well. And let us get now to our feature story of the evening before we wrap it up and take a siesta. Gina Carano has been at it again. Gina Carano. Is that how you pronounce her name? Now, I will be completely transparent here. I don't know really anything Gina Carano has done. I know she was in Deadpool, and I didn't really like that movie, so I didn't watch it all the way through. Was she in the first one or the second one? Or was she in both? I don't know. I didn't like it, so I don't know. The Mandalorian I want to see. I haven't seen it yet because, I don't know, like I said before, I'm waiting for more stuff to be on Disney Plus before I'll pay for it. So I don't really know too much about Gina Carano, apart from what she's doing on Twitter, which just seemed to set the world afire. Let's see. Taking a look here. Let's see. This is from Newsweek. Either Gina Carano really enjoys riling up fans of Disney's The Mandalorian, or she feels particularly compelled to exercise her First Amendment rights. Well, that's it, isn't it? She's compelled to exercise her First Amendment rights. This is what I love about this girl. She just doesn't care. She doesn't care about the cancel mob. She doesn't care about whether she's towing the line with her Disney overlords and the whole of entertainment leftist media that's taking over the entire "you'll never work again" and all that stuff. She doesn't care. She's just going to say what she wants. And she's actually acting like the rest of us, honestly. How many, there's of course the strange SJW segment who want to cancel her for actually speaking her beliefs. But try to remember, there is a freedom of speech clause in the Constitution, right? Am I right? I'm not making that up, right? You are allowed to have freedom of speech. Now, for some reason, Twitter isn't allowing the president to even speak without being censored and without being, having their own interpretation of his tweets attached. James Arnold Taylor, also the voice actor for Obi-Wan Kenobi in a lot of the Disney series and so forth, he's come under fire too. Now, I don't have his whole story here. I didn't want to get into all that today, but he was actually shamed for trying to go on Parler, which is allegedly the Republican version of Twitter, because a lot of people are migrating over to Parler because everybody's getting tired of Twitter's theatrics and not allowing people to say what they want to say and censoring them. So there's apparently more freedom of speech over on Parler. James Arnold Taylor tried to create an account and he was shamed out of deleting it, or shamed into deleting it, excuse me. And meanwhile, Gina Carano has also got an account over on Parler. Long story short, I tried to get an account on Parler. They wanted my phone number and I was reluctant to give it, and I just never went back. A lot of people complain that it's not the easiest thing to interface with or whatever. It's kind of difficult. Let's see. The comments she's posted on Twitter have gotten "Fire Gina Carano" to trend once again. And like other times in the past, the actress and former mixed martial arts fighter has fended off critics with yet another offensive tweet. The tweet that set people off this week was an attack on Democratic leaders about the wearing of masks. Now, here we go. See, this is the whole thing. You try to tell people the truth about the masks and that the fact that, there's a 99.9 survival rate for the China virus, and somehow you're some kind of crazy conspirator. The CDC has put out these numbers. They are there for anybody to find. They're not my numbers. They're not Trump's numbers. They are the CDC's numbers. And they say that there is a 99.9 probability you will survive the virus that shall not be named. I think there's a 94.7 chance you'll survive if you're over the age of 70, which is, again, pretty good odds. And again, there's no conspiracy theory in saying it's basically a stronger flu strain. There is no conspiracy theory here in saying that it is not a death sentence, that you will survive, probably without medication, which, as we've come to find out, there is medications and vitamins and other things that are, useful and that work. We've seen that from President Trump himself. This is the tweet that they're talking about. Let's see. The tweet that set people off this week's attack on the Democratic leaders about the wearing of masks to prevent the spread of CV. Sent out on Saturday, the tweet depicts a picture with the text, Democratic government leaders now recommend we all wear blindfolds along with masks so we can't see what's going on. And that is quite hilarious because it is so true. We're being shamed into letting our freedoms evaporate, and they will soon be gone with the wind. Controversy has followed the 38-year-old Carano around all summer after she suddenly began sharing controversial opinions on social media. Matters first reached a fever pitch at the beginning of August when the hashtag Gina Carano is over party began trending. This came following a tweet she posted. Oh, this is good. Well, I got to show this one. This is sure to get me in hot fire too, just by talking about it, but I don't care anymore. I'm getting sick and tired of this nonsense. She tweeted this photo of the one Nazi guy not saluting along with the rest of the Nazi party. A famous black and white photo showing a collective Nazi salute where one man isn't saluting. After some initially stunned responses and others calling her racist, she posted an article about the photo and wrote, "Heartbreaking and powerful story of a man who changed his ways for the woman he loved. Love changes the world one person at a time." Other people on Twitter then accused her of blocking accounts that support Black Lives Matter. Carano followed up with various tweets calling her critics cowards, bullies, and trolls, which they are, some of them. Then in September, the Disney Plus star urged churches and businesses to reopen amid the pandemic. Needless to say, that didn't sit well with many people, though there were a fair share of like-minded people who agreed with her, such as myself, such as the Torchmeister. These lockdowns are ridiculous. And let's see, what else do we have here? She also shared this one, which most recently she shared, which I liked a lot, which basically describes what is going on right now. People are becoming sheep. They are being frightened by their government. And as soon as one or two people start to stand up to this government, that's the sooner we'll get our freedoms and liberties back. So again, I've become a Gina Carano fan, even though I've never really seen her do anything or know anything that she's done. Her most recent tweet, I don't have it up here, but I retweeted it on my Twitter. She says, "You will never guess what I've been doing the last 48 hours. I've been off the grid with no Wi-Fi. I haven't even seen The Mandalorian episode 12 myself, but I hope you all love the heck out of it. Life is great. I am humbled and incredibly grateful. With the hashtag face your fears, live your dreams." So again, hats off to Gina Carano. She is taking the bull by the horns. She's in a very great position here to be able to, deflect all these criticisms. Stop having this groupthink. Stop having everybody in the media tell you what to believe. Stop letting them tell you how to think, how to act, how to behave. And that goes for the government too. There's a lot of crazy governors out there locking down people. You know, here in the People's Republic of Massachusetts, it's probably as bad as it is anywhere. But don't let these governors and these, state folk officials lord it over you. That's not the way the Constitution works. That is not the way the founding fathers intended it. We, the people, control the government, not the other way around. You don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do. We elect you. And if you're going to continue to push your weight around with us, continue to lock us down, not let us go to church, not let businesses open, force us to wear masks all hours of the ding-dong day, it's not going to sit well for this country. And I tell you that right now as a concerned American, especially with the way the presidency is in the process of trying to be stolen from President Trump. Again, I don't want to get too much on my soapbox, so to speak. But again, this is what happens. This is what is happening in the world today when you are an outspoken member. Now, they try to shout down Christy Alley and James Woods and Scott Baio and, all of them for basically having a Republican opinion, having a conservative opinion. And the whole joke goes around, oh, what's Scott Baio done in the last 30 years or whatever. But what are you going to say? How are you going to laugh off Gina Carano? How are you going to do it? She is at the top of her game right now. She is a, big-time actress. She is a big-time, in mixed martial arts, she was the real deal. You really are not going to be able to shame her into silence the way that you shame these other conservative actors. And that's where it's at right now. We need more conservative actors and entertainment figures to come forward and not be scared away, not be given the Drew Brees treatment where you say the slightest little thing and then you have to shrink back and hide and cower and say, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I don't want to take anything away from any of these actors and athletes that have done that because I know how tough it is. I'm getting lambasted every day myself for all kinds of things. I don't care. It doesn't bother me personally. You've got to have a thick skin. You also have to have the understanding that we have the rights as Americans to have our own way of thinking. And that's another thing that President Trump, he focused on so well, particularly during the campaign, is that the Republican Party is nothing to be ashamed of. Ever since Obama, we've been shamed into thinking, don't be proud of being a Republican. Being a Republican is being in the party of Lincoln. I know there's a lot of people who are independents and they're like, well, I'm an independent. I'm not a Republican. I'm proud to call myself a Republican because I'm in the party of Lincoln. Lincoln is the one that, officially inaugurated off the Republican Party. We are the anti-slavery party. And the Equal Rights Party all along through history. It's history. We've shown it. We were the party that was for the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of, having the equal rights and so forth. That's nothing to be ashamed of. But like I said, we keep having people getting canceled with these ridiculous, obscene cancel parties and cancel mobs that get onto Twitter, don't like what somebody says, and then try to silence them, try to shame them, try to shut them up. We've covered this story a couple of times already in the past, month and a half, 2 months, something like that. We've had this happen to Chris Pratt because he wasn't at a Biden fundraiser. Somehow he should be canceled. If he doesn't like Joe Biden, that does not make him less than a human being, right? And we even had Katie Lotz, who is a Biden supporter, who merely suggested that we should all get along, that Trump supporters should be treated as human beings and not like the garbage of humanity. And she was shouted down a couple of times because she refuses to treat Trump supporters like garbage like that. And it's really sad, and it's sickening, really, because what's happening is you're having a lot of the entertainment media, you know, they're being allowed to run roughshod over Republicans and conservatives and like-minded, you know, people, libertarians and so forth. Even if, you know, it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is, if you don't swallow the liberal Kool-Aid that Obama was the greatest thing since sliced bread and that Trump, orange man, bad and all that, you're a despicable human being. And we've gotten that in the past 8 years, I'd say. We've gotten that treatment, and it's not right, and it shouldn't be allowed, and it shouldn't be condoned. And we should stand up for people like Gina and Scott Baio and Christy Alley and all those who are willing to say, look, it's not something to be mocked to have the conservative point of view. You're not allowed to demean us as any less than a human being by saying we don't agree with the way these despot rulers over us are handling things. They have, I've said this on Twitter, they've taken an inch and they've run a marathon. These governors and these, you know, elected officials, mayors, and all these legislatures and stuff, they've run roughshod over the people. And that is not something the founding fathers intended. Mask mandates, there is no mandates. You do not have the right to mandate something that has not been voted on by a legislature and not approved by the people. It's unconstitutional. And if you stand up and speak against that, you're not being a conspiracy theorist or whatever. You're being a patriot. You're being someone the founding fathers would have approved. So I guess we'll leave it there. Again, I would like to try to get even more deeply into some of these political topics, but again, we'll save that for another time. Let's end it here on a little bit more of a humorous note. We were talking about Deadpool a few minutes ago, and actually, let's see, I have the story about Deadpool too that I didn't bring up earlier when I really should have. But let's see. Deadpool 3 is apparently a go. Deadline confirms it. Deadpool 3 is finally moving forward at Marvel Studios with Wendy Mulliniks and Lizzie Mulliniks-Logelin signing up to pen the movie screenplay. The sisters' writing partners are currently serving as the showrunners of Fox series The Great North. The duo also won an Emmy for their work on an episode of animated comedy Bob's Burgers. It's said that meetings have taken place over the past month, with star Ryan Reynolds meeting with a handful of writers to hear their pitches for where the Merc with a Mouth's franchise should go next. In the end, both Marvel Studios and the actor decided that the Mullinex sisters were a good fit for the Deadpool franchise, and while it's still in early development, it's now one step closer to becoming a reality. However, as you might expect, there are still some details being worked out behind the scenes. As the trade notes, the threequel's tone may be an issue, as both Disney and Marvel Studios have previously been adamant that their releases won't have an R rating. However, sources tell them that the current plan for the threequel is to be rated R, so it will be interesting to see how that pans out and what it means for the movie's place in the MCU. While the door is open for Deadpool 2 director David Leitch to return, it sounds like a new filmmaker will ultimately take the helm of this one. Reynolds' return is also a huge deal, as the fact that he'll suit up as Deadpool again obviously means he's bringing his take on Wade Wilson to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the first time ever. All right, so what do you think of this? I'm not a huge Deadpool fan, like I said, of the first two movies. I'm not a fan of R-rated comedy in general, so I am probably not going to see this one any more than I saw the first two. I was curious about checking out the second movie, the tamed version, the toned down version. I still never got a chance to see that, but I don't know. If they do make it a PG-13 version, I'd be happy to check it out, but chances are I am not going to see this one if it's the R-rated version. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about any of the stories here that we've talked about today. Let me know if you have any other topics you want me to cover that I haven't yet. Please be sure to have a happy Thanksgiving. I will try to see you again very quickly. I don't know what the topic will be, but as I said, I've got a lot of things to talk about that we could deal with here on the Johnny Torch program, the Johnny Torch broadcast, the Johnny Torch show, whatever way you want to describe it. Make sure you like and dislike if you want. Hey, it's a free country. You can dislike. I don't mind. Make sure you share. That's always important. It's a good thing to share. And subscribe. We're up to 149 subscribers now. I'd like to get over 150 subscribers before the end of the year. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, please see to it that you subscribe. I mentioned on Twitter, I do want to try to get some guests on the show. I know I'm always hesitant to put guests on the show because I'm afraid I don't want to sink somebody else's campaign. I mean, I talk about my book and, win, lose, or draw, whatever happens, happens. It's my book. I don't really want to mishandle somebody else's project and cause it to, not be treated as well as it should. So I'm kind of leery about it. But, starting next year, I'm going to bait the hook, so to speak, out there and see if I can maybe get a couple people on the show, talk about your projects, talk about my project. We'll see. It depends. I felt very strongly that the Lord is leading me not to pursue those kind of things this year. I had great aspirations this year for doing some of this stuff, and I felt very strongly in my spirit that the Holy Spirit was telling me to hold back, and you have to be open to what the Spirit's leading is. And I think it's not quite the right time yet for me to be sort of throwing open the doors to that kind of thing right now. But we're going to look at it again next year and see what the Lord says. So until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again next year. I almost said next year. This isn't the last broadcast for 2020. It's only the last broadcast, probably until Thanksgiving. So until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, happy Thanksgiving, and I'll be with you again real soon.